Hello, I am Horrorama, and today I have found 3 stories about people who have had encounters with strange and unknown creatures. I hope you enjoy. I'm an officer in Nevada, and I've had a few experiences, I guess you could call them, with human-like figures in the desert. The first one was when I was responding to a call in the middle of the Mojave Desert at around 10 p.m. on a lonely road that leads to Pahrump, Nevada. As I was driving, I see to my left a human-like figure running through the desert. The man-shaped creature was all black and appeared to be running like 30 miles per hour. I turned on my lights and pointed in that direction, but it vanished. I freaked out a bit, called my girl, and told myself I'm new to the area, I'm probably just afraid and tripping out. I handle my call and forget it ever happened. 2 weeks later, I responded to a call with my partner who was driving his own patrol car. My partner arrested the guy in the car, so I waited with the suspect's car until the tow driver arrived. I sat in my car in the darkness, no biggie. I see the tow driver in the distance headed my way. As he arrives, the tow driver immediately comes to my car and says, "Are you alright?" I say, "I'm fine." And he tells me, "I wanted to check on you, because I just saw a man running away from your car." I tell him to shut up, and he says, "Yeah, it looked like a tall man wearing all black, running full speed away from your car." I tell him to get into my car, and both he and I go searching for the guy, but we don't see anything. At this point, I go back to the office and share my experience, but they think I'm crazy. A few weeks go by, and I'm on a call about a traffic collision with parties ejected. After clearing the scene, I walk back to my car. I hear some screams for help near my car. I start yelling, "Where are you?" and pointing my flashlight around. I see nothing. A partner who was near me also hears them. We both go searching, but the screams stop. Never did find anything. I had this encounter when I was around 11 or 12 years old, and I had a wolf girl stage. Back then, I believed in werewolves. I wanted to believe I could become a werewolf. This is really cringy to admit, but I would even go as far as howling late at night. I'm saying all of this because I'm not sure if it's somehow related to my encounter, but what I experienced I have no explanation for. One night I was sitting outside on the porch, and we lived out in the country, so I would stargaze, and the smell is what caught me off guard at first. It smelled like rotten flesh. Then I heard crunching leaves and saw a shadow on all fours walking towards me. I thought it was a deer at first, but as I was looking at it, it was at least 5 to 6 feet tall on all fours, all black, and it had a white patch on its chest and white paws and was sniffing the ground walking towards me. I stared at it for what felt like minutes trying to figure out what it was, but it looked like a huge dog, bigger than it should be. I screamed and ran inside. After doing this, I heard something scratching on the panel on the outside of the house. I turned off all of the lights and went to bed. The next day, I found a patch of hair, at least 4 by 4 foot, in the area I saw this creature, completely coating the ground. It was strange, and I tried to do research on what could shed like this, but couldn't find answers. It didn't stop there. Not long after, I woke up late at night and had a sudden urge to go to the window. I moved the curtains and saw 2 bright yellow eyes staring at me from the garage. I felt depression, hopelessness, dread. It felt like I was in a trance where I lost all joy. I remember staring at this creature for a few moments before immediately turning around and going back to bed. I woke up the next morning not understanding why I did that and immediately ran out there with a flashlight. It was still dark. I tried to recreate the yellow eyes and figured out it must have been a reflection, but I couldn't find a logical explanation. Not long after that experience, I found a shovel along with a 6-foot hole dug under my garage. I went to my mother, laughing, asking why the landlord was digging under the garage, and she was clueless as to what I was talking about. I also found knives from our kitchen stabbed into the walls of this garage with no explanation. We moved a year later, but I could smell the rotten flesh odor every morning before getting on the bus. I'm 29 now, and I've tried so hard to find answers for what I experienced, but I've got nothing. I've researched Wendigos and have read They Will Kill You, but I'm still here, so... Anyone got any insight? A few months back, I was staying the night at one of my friends. He lives on the far edge of a town in Utah. He still had neighbors around, but there was a lot of forest around it, and it was next to a canyon. I don't know if the scenery helps the story, but I will try to list every detail of my encounter. I was staying the night, and my girlfriend also came over to hang out for a while. We hang out and everything is fine, fun, and great. 1 a.m. rolls around and I had work at 6 a.m. in another town about 30 minutes away. So I said, hey, maybe you should leave so I can get some sleep before work. And this time, my friend went to sleep and it was just me and her. As we are walking to her car, I start feeling uneasy, like I could hear something. We get to the driver's side of her car, and I hug her goodbye. As I am hugging my girlfriend, I look behind her and I am struck with shock and fear as I see a creature, maybe 8 or 9 feet tall. It was standing next to a cherry tree on the side of my friend's driveway. It was bipedal. It was very skinny. The moon was out, so I could see the creature clearly, but not so much color details. The legs were bent backwards, like deer legs, or like the back legs of a moose. It slouched a lot, and I still couldn't see its face, as it was in the leaves of the cherry tree, which has to be 11 or 12 feet tall. I remember not being able to talk much, except saying goodbye to my girlfriend. I don't know why, but I couldn't tell her to look behind her. Before I let go of her, I saw the creature move. It took off running towards the tree line. What absolutely baffled my mind was the speed of the creature. It looked impossible, as if it was blurry when it started running. I remember it looking right at me through the leaves, even though I couldn't see its face. What was the worst thing about the experience was the emotions attached to seeing what I saw. I felt like my confidence emotions were attacked. I have never felt a feeling of fear like this before, and I have been charged by full-grown brown bears. After my girlfriend got into her car, I stood in that very same spot from when I hugged her until she had left the driveway. I don't know if it was more out of fear or making sure she left safely. I didn't know what to do, so I slowly walked over to my car and got in. I called my friend multiple times, but he was sleeping and didn't answer. I looked out my window after several minutes, and I looked to the left and saw my friend's cat, Avery. And I tried to think logically. If my friend's cat, which probably has better senses than me, is out here, then I am probably seeing things and it's safe. So I got out and stood next to Avery. Next thing I know, it sounds like there's a Clydesdale horse running through deep growth of the forest. Avery started running for the door, and I sprinted faster than Avery and got inside. For the next 3 hours, I sobbed and cried like I did when my dog died when I was 12. The fear I felt was indescribably powerful. I also remember it had long arms, and when it ran, it used all limbs. Please, someone tell me if this is a real creature. It gives me goosebumps to this day talking about it, and writing this brought me to tears. Just thinking about it is scary. Thank you for listening, and if you did enjoy my narration, then please do press the like and subscribe buttons. But even if you don't, I wish you a good rest of your day.